12.1 is writing expressions or to write expressions. Okay, basically what we're talking about today, and we'll talk about the next couple of days, is a variable expression. Okay, now the book calls it an algebraic expression. Same thing. Okay, algebraic expression and a variable expression are exactly the same. What they are is this. It is a mathematical expression that includes a variable and some type of mathematical operation. Okay, now when I say mathematical operation, we're talking about add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Okay, that's what we're talking about when I use the word mathematical operation. Hopefully you remember that, but just in case you don't, there it is. Okay, we're going to talk about writing expressions that meet that. Okay, now let me give you an example of one. A couple examples here. 3x plus 4. Okay, that's a variable expression or an algebraic expression. X plus 4 is a variable expression. Y minus 9 is a variable expression. Okay, A times B plus 3 is a variable expression. Okay, those are all examples of variable expressions because they have a variable in them and they have some type of mathematical operation. Now, remember that when you have a number and a variable right next to each other with no other sign in between, okay, that means to multiply. So that's 3 times x. This right here, A times B. Okay, now, what they're going to do today is this. They're going to have you write a variable expression from a sentence they give you. Okay, for example, they may give you the sentence like this: 2 more than 3 times a number. Okay, 2 more than 3 times a number. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to take that sentence and translate it into a variable expression. Okay, and we simply do the words here. The word 2 means obviously the number 2. What does the words more than mean? Is that addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? No, addition. More than means addition, because if I have more money than you, you're going to have to add money to your pocket to have as much as I have. Okay? So more than means to add. Obviously 3 means 3. Times means to multiply by a number. So that's 3x. Okay? Now, this is the first part of your answer. Okay, then what they're going to do is they're going to tell you that x is equal to 5. Okay, they're going to say that x is equal to 5, so now they want you to simplify your variable expression. Okay, well, to simplify that, then we just simply plug in the 5. 2 plus 3 times 5. We just plug in the 5 for the x. Okay, the value of x is 5, so I plug that in right there. So what is 3 times 5? Destiny. 3 times 5. Yeah, 15. So 2 plus 15. So our order of operation says that we have to do multiplication before we do addition. Okay, that's why we did the 3 times 5 first instead of adding 2 to the 3. Okay, now, end of that one is simple. 2 plus 15 is 17. So both of these would be your answer. The algebraic expression, or the variable expression as we're calling it, okay, the algebraic expression and the number 17 would both be your answers. Okay, each one will be an x in the problems that we do. Okay, now let's talk about some key words here. When we talk about addition, okay, when we talk about addition, we're talking about, for example, the words more than, increased by, sum, total, added to. Okay, those are some words that commonly mean the mathematical operation of addition. Okay, subtraction is minus, less than, subtracted by, decreased. Okay, those are all words that are commonly used to express subtraction. Okay, for multiplication, to multiply, you have the word product times and multiply by. And then for division, you have divided by, quotient. Okay, and those are the main two. Okay, we may run across some more here in some of these sentences we're going to do, and we'll add them to the list if we do. Those are the ones that are most commonly held to for those specific operations. All right, so let's look at number 1. Number 1 says 12.5 more than a number n. Okay, so they've actually given you the variable. Okay, when they don't give you the variable, you can obviously use whatever letter you'd like to use. This one, they give you the variable because in the directions, read us the directions, Brandon, for number 1.
Write an algebraic expression for each phrase, then evaluate given n equals 5.
Okay, so they want us to write an algebraic expression for each sentence, and then they want us to evaluate, which means to simplify. Okay, they want us to evaluate if n is equal to 5. Okay, so let's first of all write an algebraic expression for number 1. What would the algebraic expression be for this number 1? Who thinks they know? Noah. No. Right? Yeah. 12.5 plus n. Okay, that's your first answer. That's answer number 1. Then we're going to take that answer, 12.5 plus n, and plug in 5. Okay, and then we're going to add it together. What is 12.5? If I have $12.50 and I add $5 to it, how much money do I have, Jonah? No, not 20. 12.5 plus 5. Brandon. No. Are we supposed to line up our decimals when we add decimals? The decimal in 5 is at the right of the number. Okay, so Staley, what do we get?
17.5?
Yeah, 17.5. Noah actually gave us the answer when he first started his problem a while ago, but obviously some of you aren't paying attention. Okay, because he said 17.5 plus, oh, no, wait, no. Okay, so the second answer then is the 17.5. Okay, so that's how you do number 1. All right, we're going to do number 2 together. Number 2 says 3.5 added to n multiplied by 4/5. 3.5 added to n multiplied by 4/5. And I really don't like that they, put a bunch of fractions and stuff in here to start this lesson out, but so be it. We have to deal with it and move on with life. Okay. So somebody translate this sentence into an algebraic expression or a variable expression. What would our variable expression be for this problem? Staley, give it a shot.
3.5.
Okay. Okay. Now, that is correct, but here's how you've got to express that part of it. Okay, this part right here needs to be expressed as 4/5 n. The number has to come before the variable when we multiply. So we have 3.5 plus 4/5 n. Okay, don't put it behind the letter. Always put it in front of the letter when it's multiplying a number or a fraction times a letter or a variable. Okay, Emma.
Why did you add the like?
Why did I add it?
No, why did you add
Oh, we don't. You can do it, but you need to get in the habit. You could do this like this. Like that right there. But the problem is this. Is you're going to have variables that are x. And so if your variable, let's say, was x in this problem, then it would look like this. So do I have 2 x's, or do I have 2 multiplication signs, or do I have... So it gets very confusing, okay? And so when we're doing these, first of all, if you use a multiplication sign, in 7th grade, you can't use a multiplication sign. You have to write it 4/5 n, okay? This grade, in 6th grade, I allow it a little bit, but if you're going to use it, do it this way. Use the dot, like that, or like I did here with the parentheses. Use the parentheses. Don't use the actual multiplication x. Okay? Now, what they'll do a lot of times is they'll make it look like this. If they have n, they'll go x, and then they'll make a little x like that. Okay? But I don't like any of these ways realistically. I don't like that or that or that. I want it like that. Okay, and in 7th grade and on up, you have to do it that way. Okay, in fact, we were talking about that yesterday in 7th grade. We were doing some similar stuff to this. It's obviously a little harder, but doing some similar stuff to this. Okay, now, so this is my first answer. 3.5 plus 4/5 n. Now we have to evaluate it. We have to take 3.5 plus 4/5 n, where n is equal to 5. So I got to plug that 5 into my n right there. So it gives me 3.5 plus 4/5 times 5/1. Now, why did I put 5/1? Jonah? Right. It's a whole number. It's the same as 5. And since I'm multiplying fractions, what was our rule when we multiply fractions? What do we have to do to mix numbers and whole numbers? When we're multiplying fractions, what do we have to do to mix numbers and whole numbers? Noah? No. Don't have to have common denominator. That's when we're adding. We'll have to do that in a second. Emily, what do you think? No, that's division. You're on the right track thinking. Remember, anytime we have a mixed number or a whole number and you're multiplying, you must change them to an improper fraction. Okay? So if you're for example, if we were multiplying the 3.5, then we'd have to change it to an improper fraction before we could do anything. That's why you have to make 5/1. Because we have to change 5 into an improper fraction. 5 as an improper fraction is 5/1. Okay? So now we can Jimmy Neutron. Remember, Jimmy Neutron is our cross-canceling. Okay, is there a common factor between 5 and 5? What? No? 5, thank you. 5 goes into 5 one time, 5 goes into 5 one time. So now I have 3.5 plus 4 times 1 on top and 1 times 1 on bottom, which is, what is that? 4 times 1 on top and 1 times 1 on bottom equals what? 4. 3.5 plus 4. Now, at this point, I don't have to do anything else but add them. I don't have to have a common denominator because the 4 doesn't have a fraction. I just add 4 to 3. What is 4 plus 3? 7. So 7 1/2. And that's your second answer. Okay, your first answer was the 3.5 plus 4/5 n. Second answer is the 7.5. Okay, let's look at number 3. Oh, this is a fairly easy one. A number divided by 2. Oops, they actually put, hang on here, a number n. A number n divided by 2. So how do I write that? Somebody besides Noah. Emily, give it a shot. Other way around. Yeah, there you go. N division sign 2. Okay? N division sign 2. Gotta get there in a second, hopefully. There it is. N division sign 2. Okay? When you have a division problem like this, and they use the words divided by, the numbers just stay in order. Okay? Usually on all your division, like another way they could have wrote this is a quotient of a number n and 2. That's still n division sign 2. Okay? Now we have to plug in, so that's your first answer. Now we have to take n divided by 2 and plug in where n equals 5. So I have to plug that in. So 5 divided by 2. What is 5 divided by 2? Jonah? 2.5, correct? Or if we express it as a fraction, 2.5. Okay, because remember, all you're doing here is this. 2 into 5. 2 goes into 5 2 times, be 4, remainder 1. Take my 1, put it over the 2. 2.5. So there's your two answers. N division sign 2, and then 2.5. Yes, Noah? Either one. Yeah, either one is correct. For these problems, they're going to leave it in fractional form most of the time. Now, what I would say is this. If they give you a problem that has decimal numbers in it, then express your answer as a decimal. If they give you numbers that have a fraction in it, then express your answer in a fractional form. Like this one, neither one were given to us, so either one would be acceptable. Okay? All right, let's look at number 4. 4's got the keywords in it that I wanted to look at. Number 4 says 22.76 less than a number n added to $36.78. All right, that's a longer one. Some of you that write large may take 2 lines to write that one. Most of you write fairly small, so you'll be okay. All right, now, here's the key words. This is the words that give everybody trouble. Even though I spend a lot of time going over it, the words less than give everybody trouble. Not in what they mean. Okay, what do the words less than mean for mathematics? Subtract. Okay, if I have $20 less than Joy, I'm subtracting $20, right? All right, now, let me ask you something. If I have $20 less than Joy, and Joy has $40, how many dollars do I have? 20. If Joy has $50, how many do I have? 30. Okay, what are you doing in your mind? Which number's coming first, the 40 and the 50 or the 20? What? 40 and the 50. Okay? So, if I say I have $20 less than Joy, so that expression would be Joy's money minus $20. Okay? You see how we flipped the two things? When we're talking about the words less than, the order has to be flipped that they give it to you in. Okay? Because when we said Joy had $50 and we want to know how much I had, we said 50 minus 20, not 20 minus 50. It's got to be 50 minus 20, and that tells you how many dollars I have. So only when you use the words less than, okay, only when you use the words less than, you must flip the order of the variables and numbers. Okay? So if we go back up to the original problem then, 22.76 less than a number n. Okay? That is going to be n minus 22.76 plus 36.78. Okay? That's what your expression is going to be. So that's answer number 1. Answer number 2, we take the same expression and the directions tell us that n is equal to 5. So I got to plug in a 5. And this will mess some of you up because you forget to line up your decimals. Okay? So let's plug in the 5. 5 minus 22.76 plus 36.78. Okay, so I've got to subtract first. Is that right? Yeah, it is. And unfortunately, I believe I remember right. Oh, they're going to do it that way. What? Okay. All right, they're going to do it a different way. I'm glad I did this one. All right, let's go back up here to the top. Usually, mark that out or erase it. They didn't set it off properly. Usually it says 22.76 less than a number n added to 36.78. Okay? Usually what they will do is they will put a comma right here. Okay? They'll put a comma right there and let you know that they want you to do this last part together. Okay? Here's what they want you to do. They want you to take n plus 32.78, then subtract 22.76. They want the parentheses around it. Okay? That's not a good way to write it. Most of your books will have commas in there to help separate, so you take a pause so you know that, hey, I'm pausing, then I go to the next part. Okay? This particular one, they don't do that. I'm glad I looked, because I think there's some. Let me look here. Yeah, none of them are negative. None of your answers that you're going to have in the homework will be negative. That, if the way we wrote it, would have given us a negative answer. Okay? And so that's how they want you to write it. Okay? So we'll write it that way. There's your first answer. Now we plug in and say 5 plus 32.78, parentheses, minus 22.76. Okay, well this is 32.78 plus 5, which is what? 37.28 minus 22.76. Then I subtract those two by lining up the decimals. And you subtract it. Okay, and whatever that answer is your answer. Okay? Now, your homework. Please read the directions carefully. Okay? Your homework is 1 through 12. Okay, and we just did 4 of the problems. So you have 8 problems you got to do on your own. Okay, read the directions carefully because the value of the variable is not always 5. All right, you may go. That's due tomorrow.